Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to extract NHIS data using the IPUMS platform. And then also the next thing will be are you able to import that data into SPSS for your analysis? So there are two things you are going to learn from this particular video, and that will be using the IPUMS to collect or extract data, and then secondly, importing the data into SPSS. So without much ado, let us get to that. So if it is the first time you are actually using IPUMS for enhanced data, you can easily type in IPUMS enhanced. So once you have typed in, you can click here. And then once you click here, it sends you there. Now, first of all, if you don't have an account, you have to be able to create an account to be able to proceed to use the IPUMS to collect the data. But if you have already created an account, which I have done, so you see, my name is here, so I have already created an account. So what you can do, once you are the IPUMS health survey, you go to get data. Once you have clicked on the data, it takes you to a different window or a platform. And here, what do you do? So here we have select samples, which is the years which you are going to select. And then you have different variables in which you might want to select from. So for instance, I want to select a data from, let's say, 2021 enhanced data set that I want to select. So I click on 2021. Okay, I can of course click on multiple years, but let's assume I want to analyze the data from, let's say, 2020 to 2022, right? So I then go to submit sample selection. So you notice that here we have 3 samples. It means that you are collecting data from 3 different years. So now how then do you select your variable? So assuming you already know the variables you want to select, usually more often for when it comes to health data set or population-based research in health science, more often you are going to have your demographic factors, right? So, or demographic variable. So you go to demographic and then you have core demographic. So the core demographic, let's say I want to select age, I want to select the sex of the individual, and then I want to select, let's say, the marital status of the individual. Maybe I want to include sexual orientation. Now, if you want to know more about the variable, you can just click on the variable, and then we can click on the description, and then you're able to read the description of the variable. And then we have compactability. That's what years are those variables collected that are compactable. And then you have the universe. You have availability, you have the survey text. So this same variable is available since 1963 to 2022. And then you have the weight. So we are selecting 3 different years, which we have here from 2020 to 2022. And then we have the weight. So the name of the weighting is what? The sum weight for this particular variable. And then you have other sources. So now let's return. So now I have selected the variable. Again, if you want to know more about sex, you can click and then you'll be able to learn more about that particular variable. If you want to know more about how the marital status was actually collected. And then also when you click on the count, the case count view, you are able to know how many individuals or observations were reported for each of the years for each group that was actually collected. So now I go to return, and then also let's assume I want to also collect, let's say, some variable on general health status. So let's say this particular variable asks about the individual general health status, which the answer from excellent through to poor and then we have other answers which they had to choose from. So now I'm adding, let's say, general health status. And so let's assume this is the variable, and then there are other variables you can select. So we have mental health. So let's assume I want to investigate into depression. So I click on the mental health, and then I have this PHQ cut. So this actually use the PHQ to actually assess the mental health status of the individuals, ranging from none to severe, ranges from none to severe depression. So, so let's say I want to select the PHQ-4, that's the PHQ cut, which is assessing the depression status or the severity of depression. Okay, so there are other variables. We have socioeconomic factors. So for instance, let's say I want to select education of the individual, the maximum education attained, which is here. So I want to select the maximum education attained. So let's say I have to take those variables. So, and then also, there are also other health behavior variables you might want to maybe include, let's say, health behavior, smoking. So these are different information on the smoking status. So for instance, this particular variable asks of the current status of the individual, whether they are current smokers, never smokers, or former smokers. So let's say I want to include that variable. Okay, so that can go on and on and on by you selecting the variable. So let's assume you've been able to select the number of years. So now I have 3 years, I have 8 variables. So then, how then do I have to actually export those variables? So now you go to view cut. So once you are at view cut, it actually, the next thing will be for you to click on create data extract. So once you have click on data extract, it asks for the description of your extract. So let's say I want to give it, let's say NHIS. So NHIS, let's say 20, so I think 2020, and let's call it, say, 2022. So this is the name I want to give it to the data set. So now I go to submit, submit. So once I have submitted it, now these are different data set I have actually downloaded in the past. So it will be running, and once your data is ready, you are going to receive some notification in your email, that the email you use in creating your account. So let's wait for a couple of few seconds while the data is being processed. Okay, so it's almost ready. So now it's ready. So now that the data is ready, now we have to actually download the data set and then use it in SPSS. Before we can download the data set and use in SPSS, what we have to do is let's save this data set as, so save link as. So with save link as, let's say on our desktop, I want us to create a particular folder on our desktop for this particular data, which I'm going to name it, let's say, NHIS 2020, 2022. Okay. Okay. So now I open that folder and then I save it. Okay. Then another file in which you also have to save. There are 2 files you have to save, which will allow you to be able to do the imputation in SPSS. So another file is also to click on your SPSS, and then you go to save as. Once you click on save as, you can now save in the same folder in which you save the first .dat file. So now I save it. So now let me look at, let's go to our SP, let me go to let me go to my desktop and open that data. So my desktop. Okay, so I'm here in my desktop. And the data, this was the data 2020 to 2023. So I have it here. So now, once I have that data, sorry. So once I have that data, you have to be able to double click on, yeah, please, just a second. No, let me get rid of this. Okay, so you have to double click on the SPSS file you have here. But before you do that, you have to extract this file, which is .dat.gz. So to extract this file, you may be able to automatically extract the file on your PC depending on the kind of computer you are using. But sometimes if you don't have any app to extract this .gt file, there's another file in which you can actually browse to download, which allow you to be able and then install. So it is called the 7-zip file. Once you download this 7-zip file and then install, you are able to open this particular .gz. So I have already installed that already. So I just have to right click, and then I am using Windows. So I have to go to, once you have installed, you are going to see it here. So I have it here, and then it says that extract here. So I want to extract it here. So now I have it extracted. And once it is extracted in Windows, you might see it in the form of like notebook. So once you click, you are seeing so many different numbers. So now we are now ready to actually go into SPSS and get this data into SPSS. So first of all, let's double click this SPSS file, which is opening. It will take some little time. It will take a while. Yeah, sometimes if your system is slow, it might take a while, but hopefully we'll be there. Okay, there you go. It's almost. Okay. So now that file have opened. So we have the SPSS data, and that file is about to open. So we have it. Okay. So this file is what I actually double click here. So there is the file. So now what you are going to do is now you are going to right click and then look for the file path of this file. So the file path is here. So I'll copy it. And then now what you are going to do is you are going to replace the path you copied with this period. You delete the period and then you paste. And then you are also going to paste the same file path here. And then you bring the backslash. Once you have done that, so this file here, this path here, lead us to this particular that file, the that file of that it leads us to the that file. So you can also click on it and then you can go to property, and then you should be probably you can also copy and then paste it. But you don't have to do that, since once you have copied from, you have copied the path of the SPSS file, you can now just paste it and then bring the backslash, and then it should be able to read the that file. And then also you notice that one thing you should also notice that is that, let me show you something quickly. if you look at that file, you can see that we have NHIS. Before I copied and paste the path, there was NHIS underscore, which is this 0007 dot. And that's what we have here. So this one is going to actually lead us to this file. And you need the path to the SPSS file here, and then the path to the .dat file as well. So now once you have that, you can now go to run, and then you say run all. So now it takes a while, and then now it opens. So there is the output. So with the output, this is the different data I selected. But another interesting thing is, in addition to the data you extracted from the IPUMS, it also includes certain information that you can use for the weighting of your variable, which is the strata, the primary sample unit, and then the sample weight, which we have here. But regardless, this is the data set we have. So this is the data set we have here. Okay, so now you have your data. You have the labels of the data. Everything is given correctly. And then now you are ready to start with your either data processing, data cleaning, or analysis. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.